LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga was one of my most anticipated games of 2022, and after playing it, I was left a little disappointed. Let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Crossplay. My name is Pastor Mark, and today I want to talk to you about LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Now, I want you to know that I love the LEGO games. I've been a huge fan of the LEGO games since they first came out all the way back in 2005. I remember playing it on my PlayStation 2, playing it at my friend's house, playing it with siblings. It was a blast. It was so much fun, and I remember I was just hooked. So any LEGO game that came out, I played it. I played it to the umpteenth degree, unlocked all the characters, found all the collectibles. It was a blast. Until the LEGO games started to kind of move away from the normal, regular LEGO game formula. They started getting open world hubs and cities and open areas where you could walk around, and it kind of just made it lose the LEGO game-ness of it. It just kind of lost its pacing, kind of lost its way, and I just kind of lost interest in those games. And I remember specifically feeling that way about the LEGO Marvel games, where you'd have this big, massive kind of open world city thing, and you had side quests and collectibles. You had to travel to the next story mission, and so you were just kind of left walking through the city or flying, depending on your character. And sure, there's things you can smash along the way that's kind of fun, but really it's just you're kind of walking from point A to point B as a LEGO character. And I don't know, that just kind of lost something for me, especially when you take what was normally maybe a 10 to 15 hour game and you stretch it into this open world game, and now you're just kind of walking for 20 hours of a 40-hour game, and that's really kind of, for me, what Skywalker Saga felt like. And I'm going to get to some of the stuff that I liked about the Skywalker Saga, but let's talk about these issues first. First, like we just talked about, this game is massive compared to the other LEGO games. Now, it's not massive compared to like Red Dead Redemption 2, but it's a pretty big game. There's a lot of different planets to go to. I mean, you have all 9 episodes of Star Wars, so you have all of these story missions, all of these planets to go to. Each planet has multiple cities and hubs. You have the space surrounding the planet where you can do space battles and dogfights and chasing other characters. You can unlock characters. There's almost 400 characters for you to unlock. There's kyber crystals to find. There's over 1,000 crystals that are hidden throughout the game that for you to find. There's side quests. There's all this stuff to do. And it's when you're staring all of that content in the face, and then you pair it with this kind of monotonous, tedious, you're just kind of walking around trying to navigate where to go. I don't know, I just was kind of left uninterested after a while. I started playing through the episodes in order. I started with episode 1 and I made it all the way through episode 6, and then I just kind of got burned out. But when I first started, I was super excited. It was the first time I played a LEGO game in a long time. I was in Star Wars Episode 1, which is one of my favorite Star Wars, and I was all in. I was having a blast. But slowly, as time went on, I just found that I was kind of meandering through the game. I didn't really have any sense of urgency to go from one story mission to the next. After you finish a story mission, you're just kind of plopped into these open city, open hub world areas, and you don't really know where to go. There's no clear indicator or clear sense of urgency or reason to go to the next story mission. So I just kind of found that I was spending a lot of time just looking for kyber crystals and completing side quests and trying to unlock random secrets. But the LEGO games aren't really designed in their core design gameplay for open world. And so the open world that you wander around is just kind of blah. At least to me it was. And when you're looking at that as the majority of the gameplay, I mean, you spend most of the game in these open world cities. Most of the game is not the stories. Most of the game is trying to unlock characters, find collectibles, go through the side quests, and take care of all that. So most of the game takes place in these various open world sections. And the hard thing for me was I legitimately had trouble navigating where to go next. Like I said, there was no real urgency to go from one story mission to the next. You're just kind of left to wander. And so for me, this becomes much less of a kid-friendly game. I was younger when I played the LEGO Star Wars games, but I remember playing that with really young kids, like friends and siblings that were like 5, 6, 7, and they were able to follow along totally fine because those LEGO games do a pretty good job of funneling you through the levels. But here in the Skywalker Saga, to get to the next story mission, you have to navigate somewhere on the map, and I, someone who has played games for almost 30 years, legitimately had trouble finding where to go next. I mean, I really had to like stop, open up the map, make sure I was opening up the right map because there's like 5 different maps you can open at the same time, and then find out where to go. And so if you're looking to play this game with a kid or let a kid play this game by themselves, I mean, maybe kids have changed since I was a young lad playing video games, but if you're a 5 or 6 year old trying to play this game by yourself, good luck. But there's another notable change that I wanted to talk about, and that's the combat. Now, if you remember the older Lego games, you basically had one button for combat, and you just mash that button over and over again. And that can be pretty repetitive, but it kind of just fit with how the Lego games feel. I mean, that's certainly repetitive, but it never got old, at least for me. But now in the Skywalker Saga, they've replaced that one button with 3 different buttons where you can build up combos, you build up your multiplier score, you break the guard of your enemies. And so you have this combo system that at first I was all in for. It was a lot of fun. It seemed like it was this kind of added level of complexity to the Lego games that it was like growing up with me. But after a while, that just became as repetitive as the one button mashing. I mean, you will do the same combo over and over and over again on every enemy you come across. If you're playing as a character that has a blaster, you're going to shoot the helmet off of a stormtrooper, and that's going to feel amazing the first time you do it, and then you do that over and over and over again, and all you're doing is shooting off helmets, and it just gets really, really repetitive, so that every single encounter you come across starts to feel exactly the same. So those are my biggest issues with the Skywalker Saga. Let's talk about some of the stuff that I like. First, it's so clear that the developer loves Star Wars. I mean, I love Star Wars too. I've got my I Know Han Solo t-shirt on that my wife made. If you know Star Wars, you know what this means. I got my BB-8, I got my Darth Vader lightsaber over there. So I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And the developer of this game, TT Games, the ones that have made the previous Lego games, are clearly huge fans of Star Wars. I mean, that's why you have almost 400 characters that you can unlock. It's because they love Star Wars and they wanted to include all of these random, obscure characters that no one even really knows about unless you're a huge mega fan of Star Wars. There's just so much care and thought that goes into each of the story missions, and so working through the story missions is still just as fun as the old Lego games. The problem is that to get to those story missions, you have to get through the open world slog and try to navigate your way to them. The next part that I love about the game is the humor. This game is legitimately hilarious. And again, it shows how much they care about Star Wars because you still work through the same story beats. They're still faithful to the Star Wars story, but they interject some of these hilarious moments that are legitimately really funny. Also, the game looks incredible. This kind of like raises the bar for plastic looking things in video games. The way they render the characters looks great. The way they've designed the interiors of all the spaces, all of the interiors of the ships use actual Lego pieces, so it looks really, really good. I played the game on PS5, so I didn't have any issues with texture popping or the game crashing or anything like that. There were a few areas where you just booted up the level and you're in an open world and you're kind of running out and it drops a few frames, but it's really hard to notice. So overall, I'm just not really sure where the Skywalker Saga fits for me. It's a really, really fun game when you're in the story missions, when you're working through those tight linear experiences that the Lego games are known for. But then you have this monotonous and tedious open world that's filled with literally thousands of collectibles for you to find, and it's just not as fun. But then on the other hand, it's still funny and it looks great and it runs great. But then also on the other hand, they're making these changes that make this feel less like a Lego game. So I don't know what to do with the Skywalker Saga. All I know is that I was really excited to play it, and then I just kind of was left disappointed and wasn't able to finish the last 3 episodes, which maybe if you're one of those Star Wars fans that doesn't acknowledge those episodes, maybe you think I beat the game. So thanks. But what did you think of Lego Star Wars? Am I off base here? Was the open world stuff fun for you? Did you like all of the content was in there because that kind of extends your gameplay time? Or were you left kind of disappointed as well? Were you hoping that this would be one of those core fun Lego experiences, and this is just kind of not that? I'm curious what you think. Let me know your thoughts. And as with every video, I want you to know that I'm praying for you. If you've watched this video, I'm praying for you. I prayed for you as I made this video, and I'm praying for those that watch this video. And if you have a specific prayer request, you can leave me a comment and I will pray specifically for you. So thanks for watching this video. Remember that God loves you, I'm praying for you, and I'll see you in the next video.